So hi everyone, my name is Emma Dodd and I'm a support consultant here at Talis, and I will be taking you through, as part of our Back to Basics series, on an overview of the Management Information Dashboard, the 6 charts that are involved and what information you can get from them. I am also joined by my colleague David Renfrey, who will support at the end, just monitoring the chat box as well, ongoing through the session, as David's just said in the chat, and also I'll be pausing at the end of the session for some chat or even to some discussion to learn how you are all using it. So now I've done that introduction, I am going to turn my camera off so we can focus on the slides and not when I'm taking a sip of water. So I'll just turn my camera off and you should still be able to see the slides and hear me. Just as with all of our webinars, we will be recording this session so you can refer back to it, and we'll also share those with those who have registered to receive the recording. So what we're going to be covering today is an overview of the 6 charts available in the Management Information Dashboard. I have some example scenarios that I'll give you, both on what we came up with when these charts have been designed and also what our universities have told us who've been using them as well. Amongst those charts, I'll be doing some demonstration showing you both live and through screenshots as well. What I will say in the examples that I'll give you is the majority of them have come from our test tendency. So some of them are hypothetical, although I have got some examples from a live university which the details have been anonymised for obvious reasons. So the 6 charts which are available, and first of all I will say that the Management Information Dashboard is available in the Talis Aspire Plus tier. So that may be something that you have already and you just haven't had a chance to explore what these charts do, or it may be something that you haven't got available now but that you might be interested in the future, to just give you some information. So the 6 charts are here. So we have the list coverage chart, list length, edit activity, importance by hierarchy, resource type by hierarchy, and a top 100 publishers. And these are what we'll be exploring in more detail this afternoon session. So I'm going to start with explaining to you about the list coverage chart. So this will give you the information for you to establish which schools and faculties or departments, depending on the makeup of your institution, are engaging well, who has more reading lists than others. With that information, you could then identify where increased engagement activity may be necessary, perhaps through training, advocacy, or more case studies to share with those departments and schools. On the flip side of that, you can also identify where reading lists have quickly become adopted and look to build on that practice with other departments. This can be particularly useful for universities who are new to using Talis Aspire. Each one of our charts has a support article, and I've got those linked on the slide. So I'll just briefly go onto the support articles. This should open, in a new tab here. So this just gives you some further information and a screenshot, which I will talk you through in a moment. So within our support side, we have support articles for each of the charts. So what I'm just going to do, if I just jump back to my slides a moment, is I'll just explain what this particular screenshot is. So Broadminster University, for those of you who aren't aware, is our fictional university that we use at Talis to show examples and test different things. So this chart shows the list coverage within a hierarchy structure of an institution. So to explain, a circle represents a node in the institution's hierarchy. The size of the circle is relative to the number of lists below that point in the hierarchy. When you're on that chart live, by hovering over each node, you will see more detail. So I'll just go on to it was just a different one that I was on. So I'll just go on to the list coverage chart live in Broadminster, just so I can show you this live. This does look slightly different to the screenshot because we've had some more nodes added. since. So just while that's loading, by hovering on each of the nodes, you'll be able to see the full node name, percentage coverage, and number of lists. So if I go onto this bigger green circle here, we can see, for example, the School of Earth Sciences gives me the code, and it also gives me the number of lists and the coverage within that as well. And what you are able to do is sort of pull these out as well, and look at them in different ways. You'll notice that there are then circles leading off from these. So this is where the particular hierarchy has been added different levels. So if we, for example, look here, I'll just go on to one of these ones actually. We've got a circle here for the School of Engineering, and then under that School of Engineering we've got business decision making. That's the lowest point in the hierarchy, so we would refer that as a childless node, so there isn't any other levels. So that could perhaps be faculty, school department, course. So that's the end of that sort of line, so to speak, really. If we do look at a smaller circle, so for example, this School of Arts one, we can see this is smaller because we've got a smaller amount of coverage. So we have 57% coverage on 5 lists of that one. So what I will say, which is really important, and I know that we do cover this in our support calls as well, is to make the most of these charts, and particularly this one. It is really important to ensure that your hierarchy in Talis Aspire is accurate and up to date. Any help that you need with that, you can either discuss with us on your next support call, or raise a support ticket with us and we can guide you through that. The universities who have really made the most of then increasing advocacy by using this chart to see where engagement's needed have ensured their hierarchy is up to date. And the simplest reason for that is that it could be that actually there's a lot of nodes that are no longer needed, or there might be courses that aren't no longer running. This chart would indicate that there's low engagement there, but then if those courses aren't no longer running, they don't need to be represented in reading lists. So that just gives you that background there on we're taking the codes from your hierarchy in Talis Aspire. So that's why that particular part is important, to make sure that that's up to date so you can get the most from the chart. So that's the list coverage chart. I'm now going to just talk to you about the list length chart and the reasons why this would be useful as well. So as the name suggests, it tells you the length of lists. Short or overly long lists will enable yourselves as library colleagues to engage with the relevant academic staff. You could use this information in conjunction with other reports and features in Talis Aspire to help you enhance the quality of lists. Quality of lists is something that we're hearing a lot about, I'd say really the last couple of years. You know, when universities start working with Talis Aspire, it's very much about that engagement piece. It's very much about making sure that modules are represented by reading lists and that reading lists are available. Looking at the list length, okay, there may be some very long lists, but actually would that then prompt you to look at, does that long list have sections to make it easy for the students to navigate and digest the reading in that list, and also the links from your VLE as well? Is there importance labels added? Because if there's a list of over 100 items, by using importance tags, we know that that's really useful for students to then identify what they need to read first and prioritise. So just as the other reports we have, I've linked the support article there on the list length. I've actually got a screenshot from an anonymised example to show you here. So the list length shows the range of lists across the institution. It is published lists, so it doesn't include those draft and archive lists. And the chart columns can be clicked on to see the exact lists that fall within this range. So from this particular example, we saw here that there was over 200 lists that have over 100 items. So what sort of checks could you do, and how can that be useful? So this is just one snapshot of information, but actually using in conjunction with perhaps the list analytics, looking at the list itself, as I mentioned, to see if it's in sections. Is there guidance added? Is there are there annotations within those lists as well? Has it actually been edited or updated recently, or are these particularly long lists being rolled over time and time again, and not necessarily updated? So are they still relevant? So these sort of questions can then prompt perhaps some liaison with the academic/list publishers to update, to help enhance that list, or to consider what's actually on there as well. Taking that through the reverse as well, it could be that majority of lists have 10 items. Are these just essential items? Is this the start of a list that the library put together to start the academic off, and then it hasn't been edited and updated? So in silo, this information gives you those lists that have those lengths, but actually it can help you then delve into those and ask those different questions to help enhance the quality and learn more of what's happening. So that's the list length chart. Moving on, going to talk now about the edit activity. So I just touched on this earlier actually when I said about longer lists, have they recently been updated? So what does the edit activity chart tell you? Well, it could help you identify those champion academics who can help promote reading lists to colleagues, to get those case studies, to perhaps tweet about them, to include them as maybe talking heads or something on the LibGuides. On the flip side of that, who hasn't engaged at all and who could be targeted for engagement? It can also help look at the planning the support resources and training of peak times of list edit activity. We do note and advise on the slide here that the management information dashboard is focused on capturing the events that have occurred. So if you have any users who haven't had an activity in that time, they won't be represented in the data. The raw data behind the edit activity is available beneath the chart, and it is fully exportable as well. So I've just got a screenshot of a full calendar year to show you here. It may be that your university has a blend of both library colleagues updating and editing lists, and of course, naturally at reviews and updating the list, they do that as well at acquisitions, and also academics creating and editing their own lists as well. So as expected, the top three editors in this particular scenario over 12 months have been from library staff. Delving deeper down, there are other different job roles which haven't fit them all here. You can also change the dates and time period of what this edit activity is as well. What this shows you is those sort of peaks and trough moments of when there's a lot of key activity. So at the start of the academic year in September, tailing off as semester one gets underway. And again, peaks in January time where you've got semester two starting, and looks like different times of the year. It's took me up to actually today's date. So this can help you plan that training. As you can see, the peak times of list edits. Perhaps universities that we are aware that some universities use temporary staff over the summer for the peak time of tidying and editing lists. This could perhaps help you make a business case to recruit temporary staff for that peak period. So that's edit activity. So moving on to we're on number 4 now. So this is the importance by hierarchy management information chart. So what does this one show you? So it's an easy to understand breakdown how different item importances have been added to reading list items across different departments and schools, and helps you make those comparisons of importances between departments. I always smile when I say this sentence, but we do know that importances are important, both from a student perspective, as I mentioned earlier, from prioritising their reading, but also through the acquisitions perspective as well. We know that, you know, having importances on can help with buying ratios, etc. Again, because this is using hierarchy data, we do advise that a well-structured hierarchy is recommended to make the most of this report as well. So I've just got a screenshot to explain and show you this one. It can also prompt some housekeeping to update importances or liaison with departments on, again, the importance of importances. It could be that importances is cited within your student guidance, library acquisitions information, and as I mentioned, you may have a formula for purchasing items. I have also heard of universities who will go through the reviews process, but actually if an importance label isn't added to an item, that's not acquired, that's pushed back. So with this chart, with the yellow, there's a lot of yellow on here, that's where we've got a lot of items that haven't got an importance set. And then you can see the different labels, and as you're aware, these are all configurable as well. There's different terms that are used depending on the university. So I'll just go on to this one live to show you. I'll just change that here. I'll just let that load up. And as I mentioned, you've got that export to CSV option as well at the top on each of these, just as you have with the regular reports within Talis Aspire. So I just wanted to show you this one live to show you some information. So just let that load up. So I'll just click on here. So this is the School of Engineering, Mathematics and Physical Science. So it's given me that breakdown just here of what just those ones are. So are there particular schools or departments that are using importances well, or haven't been using importances? It really helps you target that liaison and that support as well. So lots of colours, but also giving you that information. If you, I've just noted here, we've got some that are set as suggested for student purchase. I've known in recent years that we have had support cases raised where we've actually asked for that to be removed. We can make inactive any of your importances if that's something that you're looking at this summer. We can't delete them if they have got items attached to them, but we can certainly make them not selectable. You can look at that through the regular list items report in Talis to give you an idea of how many you've got. I know sort of some years ago when I started at Talis, that was sort of one of the norms as an importance, and we have seen that gradually phase out with different student expectations, etc. So that's the importance by hierarchy chart. And then I'm just going to move on to the resource type by hierarchy now. So again, because we're using the hierarchy, we would recommend that a well-structured hierarchy is in your Talis Aspire tenancy to make the most of this report. And so just on hierarchy as well, any problems, raise a ticket with us or talk to us on a support call. I have got a past webinar that I've run on as a walkthrough full of the hierarchy upload process as well. If you needed pointed to that, just let us know. Okay, so resource type by hierarchy helps you see how different item types are allocated to reading lists across different departments or schools. This allows you to make comparisons between departments. So, for example, comparing the percentage of books to journals on reading lists in humanities compared to life sciences. It gives you a deeper understanding of what different students have been asked to access. It could also help, as an aside as well, for reviewing physical space. It gives you a deeper understanding of what different students have been asked to access and can feed into informations about stock holdings that are made available. So because you can see what departments are revising physical books as opposed to online or journal ones, resource types and websites, it can help you get that information. So again, I've just got this screenshot to show you from our Broadminster site. When a pie chart is clicked, it will reveal in the table below the breakdown of resource types. So I'll just go on to this live. I can see the chat's really quiet, so I presume that you're all still with me and there hasn't been any problems. I'm just going to keep going. And David, I'm sure you tell me if there was any problems. Okay, so this is the resource type by hierarchy, just loading up now. And what I just wanted to show you here is what happens again when you click into that pie chart. So we'll just go on to this one here, School of Australia. We can see that there's 29 books, 11 articles, 7 audio-visual, and then there's different web pages and chapters as well. Again, this is our fictional reading list space because we just showing example data here. That can give you an overview as opposed to a different school or a larger school such as Earth Sciences, and it also gives you that percentage coverage as well, so that can be quite useful when you're looking across different departments. Okay, so the last chart looks quite different to the others, and it really is like a word cloud of top 100 publishers, which helps you assess the likely impact of changes to platforms which you use regularly. And we do know in recent times there has been changes to platforms that have been happening. So, for example, if a publisher chooses to make changes in the metadata they provide, that would be typically captured in a bookmark. So again, we've got the support article linked just here, but I will just go on to this one now live to show you from Broadminster. I will mention just while this is loading, we will attempt to normalise publisher names to ensure consistency. For example, with Taylor and Francis, as opposed to Taylor and Symbol and Francis. Both refer to the same company, but it is possible that some variants can escape. So being able to view the full data just allows for minor corrections that might be necessary. The table of data also shows the overall percentage of other publishers as well, which didn't make the top 100, and the percentage without a publisher field. So that can give you that information. There may be no surprises when you look at that as well, but it certainly gives you that idea of the impact of different changes and where most of your acquisitions and publishers are. Okay, so oh, and I've got a screenshot there just to show you. All of the information that I have been taking you through these 6 charts today actually comes through the management information dashboards, which is data which is taken from our advanced management information system, which we refer to as advanced MIS. This is actually available in our Talis Aspire Unlimited tier, or there may be a separate module that you have purchased. The management information dashboards in the Plus tier that I've shown you have the data taken from there, so it gives you that flavour. So what I just wanted to do was to just explain how that works and where that sits within advanced MIS. As we've seen, Talis Aspire does provide a central point of activity between library staff, students, academics and resources, as pictured in this slide here. And as I mentioned, all of the information from the dashboards you've seen today have been captured by our advanced MIS data warehouse. We capture application data, which are facts and figures, and events data, such as who did what and when. To go a step further, our advanced MIS service is a SQL-compatible data warehouse, which does allow you to build custom reports, dashboards, and custom other MIS components, replacing the need to manage large and unwieldy CSV files. So our advanced MIS service will basically allow you to build your own dashboards, whereas the management information dashboards are what we've put in using that data. We do have some universities using these reading this data with other university data sets to gain a greater insight into student behaviours, which in turn feeds into wellbeing and retention programmes. You may be aware, but we do support integrations with the learning analytics systems, and currently we have universities working with JISC, Solution Path and other third-party systems. So like I said, what you see in the management information dashboards is a slice of this data. If you're interested, if you haven't already got the management information dashboards or the advanced MIS data which I've just explained, do talk to us and let us know, or speak to your Talis account manager as well. So like I said, today was about a refresher and basics of the main 6 management information dashboards. As always, we have different events and webinars planned in. So I do just want to make sure that you're aware of those, and thank you again for attending today. I'll pause for questions shortly. It is that time of year coming up for rollover. I've started seeing tickets and talking about it on calls in recent weeks. So we have our usual rollover refresher webinar, which is planned for the 18th of May, which is on our events page. We are also planning our product update webinar. We are planning this for May. We are looking to release a date very soon. Within that product update webinar, we'll certainly be giving you an update on the LTI 1.3 piece that we've been reporting on. So do watch this space. As always, we are really interested to hear from you on what you'd like from these webinars, not just from what Talis and ourselves are presenting on, but what you'd like to hear from the community. If you have got any ideas or even something that you would like to present yourselves, please do let me know, and we can look at building that into our webinar script. It's great to have you engaged and to hear what others are doing. One final update before I pause for questions is that we are all really excited to be meeting a number of you in person. On the 25th of May at the ICC in Birmingham, we are holding our first face-to-face event, and it has been quite some time, Talis Insight workshops. They are interactive face-to-face workshops. It isn't listening to presentations. We do have a registration page which has our full agenda on, so I'll just click onto that now if you haven't seen it, and actually I'll just pop that in the chat as well, just so you've got the link. I'll just do that now. So yeah, we would love to see you there. We do still have some places available, and it is free to attend as well. There are different giveaways. There's I've heard the food and drink is going to be really good, but we will be able to we'd love to be able to see you there. So that is the agenda there, so I'll just pop that back to there, and like I say, there are still some spaces available. So I'm going to pause for a moment now. David, I'm not sure if there's been too much in the chat box. If anyone has got any questions, even if you haven't got any questions, it'd be nice to hear if you have been using these reports in the management information dashboard and how you've been getting on with them. Don't believe there has been any. Chris, you asked, would it be possible to differentiate between time period in the reports? And yeah, my colleague David's answered that one. It's not possible at the moment. It's something we've been asked for before. If you don't already archive older lists, it will go a long way to getting data on the lists that you care about. There is one of those you can filter on time. The edit activity. On the edit activity report, we can filter on time period there. if that helps on that one. No, not a dumb question. So if this is enabled, you can you get to the reports, going to reports, and it's the top one there. So like I said, this is available in our Talis Aspire Plus tier. So we'll just check. I'll do that as a follow-up, what your institution is on, or even I'll speak to your account manager about that. That's something that you're interested in. Yeah, okay, yeah, Christy, to interrogate more data, e.g. list coverage, draft list count, and click through. Yes, so these dashboards have been built as basically a taster from the advanced MIS data. So to be able to interrogate further, you would be using the SQL database and advanced MIS to get deeper level. These are more of the flavour ones that we've got set up. I don't know if there were any others that you'd already answered, David, that I've missed. And like I said, Evelyn, if that's something that you want to look at in the future, we can certainly take a look and discuss on our support calls if you think that would be useful to you and how we can take that forward. I'll just pause one more time, see if you have any other questions. I also just want to thank you all for attending today. It's been great to see so many of you online this afternoon. I hope you are all keeping safe and well, and I'm really looking forward, and I know David as well, to seeing those of you who can make our workshops. I say next month, but it's May, isn't it? The end of this week. Yeah, I think that's everything. Okay, yes, Chrissy, we'll take that feedback back. Okay, great. Rohit, I'm glad that you found that useful. So yeah, thank you for attending, and we'll speak to you all on the next webinar, support call, support case, or even in person. You take care. Thanks, everyone. Bye.